How's it going, everybody? It's Luke, and I am back with another video. I haven't uploaded to the channel in a little over a year. My last video was in December of last year. It was on my custom Daredevil helmet and stand that I made. 2020 was a hell of a year for me, as well as for you guys and the rest of the world. For a lot of it, I was just really stressed out and anxious and a little bit depressed. Worrying about not only my health, but my friends' health, my family's health, and it was just a very unpredictable year. Also, within the last couple months, I've been going through a pretty hard breakup with a relationship that I've been in for just about 3 years, and that's been extremely difficult. But I've taken a look at myself and what makes me happy, and one of the biggest things is making these videos and editing them and giving you guys something to enjoy, but also giving me something to really enjoy. Because I love making these things and filming videos on them and editing them together, and hearing the feedback is just something that really fuels my fire and my passion for what I do. This year I was able to make a workshop for myself. I have a spray booth for painting. I have so many new supplies, and it's just been a really fulfilling year in terms of expanding my business and my craft. And that's what I want to get into in this video. I want to just briefly go over what I've accomplished this year and what's to come for the channel. So without further ado, I'm just going to get into that stuff. So the first thing that I pursued this year was making my Daredevil helmets mass producible with mold making and casting. This was the first like prototype. I like to keep a lot of the prototypes for things that I make, but this was the first prototype of the Daredevil helmet when I started making molds. It's cast in resin and has this elastic band in here, so it allows for it to stretch and fit over your head, because if it was just a solid casting, it wouldn't quite fit over your head. I'm going to be trying to make a rigid urethane version in the near future, but these have been really successful on my Etsy shop. They've been really fun to make. This isn't the actual color I ended up going with. I ended up going with more of a darkish kind of maroon color with a satin finish, but this was the prototype version that I made, and people have really enjoyed these. Another item that I was really excited to launch this year were these. These are Nightwing Batons with LEDs. They are my own design, so I 3D modeled them and I printed them out and wired them up, and I'm really happy with them. These have been selling like crazy. I offer these. I offer a non-LED version, which is pretty much this design but a little bit different, just because there's no LED components. And then I have the Titans version from the TV show, an LED version of those as well. But these were really fun to make. It was so exciting to incorporate the LEDs into a product. It's something I really wanted to do for a while. It really takes this kind of piece to the next level. And I'm just really stoked with these, and I intend on making different versions in the near future, different designs. Just really excited with these. They're really fun, pretty simple for me to assemble and ship out, and I haven't got tired of making them. I just really love working on them. Also, one more thing about these have been so successful for me that I've actually found multiple Chinese knockoffs online that stole my design and are selling a much shittier version of my sticks. And I don't know whether to be honored by that or extremely insulted by that, but I've had to take legal action against a few places. Another item that I was really excited to start working on this year was my custom utility belts. These are resin casts of my own design. I really wanted to offer a universal style utility belt in multiple colors that people could use for a handful of characters: Batman, Robin, Nightwing, Red Hood, Deathstroke, Captain America if they wanted to. Just tactical characters that use utility belts. So I have 3 here to show you. The first one is a gold one. This one could be used for like a Batman or a Robin. This was the first full belt that I made. Like I said, I like to keep a lot of the prototypes of things that I make. So this is the first one. This is a weathered one, so as you can see, it looks very tactical and used and very battle worn. This is a really popular color. The next one I have listed as metallic cobalt on my Etsy shop. So this is a blue one. This could be used for like a Nightwing, obviously. All the different pieces on these are interchangeable. They all attach with Velcro, so customers are allowed to have some customizability with how they want to arrange the different pieces on the belt. And they are also all personalized, so they're custom fit to the customer's waist, and they all attach with a buckle in the back. And then I have a metallic red. This could be used for like a red X or a red hood. I offer them in gold, silver, matte black, blue, and red. But I do sometimes accept like custom paint jobs, which I've done a few times. There's some right here that you can see. And those are really fun because it kind of mixes up the overall aesthetic of these with different color combinations, and those are really fun. Now, the ultimate dream project that I wanted to accomplish when I started prop making is I wanted to offer my own Red Hood helmet. It's such a popular character in the cosplay community, and I wanted a helmet that represented me as an artist and was also different than anything else that was out there. I wanted to maintain that classic comic look, but also incorporate elements that are practical and modern, so it sets it apart from different versions. I started out by coming up with some sketches of what I wanted the helmet to look like, and then I collaborated with this amazing artist on Instagram who I've become pretty close with. His name is Matthew Delacruz. These are his two Instagram accounts. The top one is his personal and cosplay account, and the bottom one is his business and more so 3D modeling account. And he was just such a joy to work with. We already had sort of a friendly connection going on, so the back and forth of figuring out how the helmet was going to look and going through the modeling process was just so smooth, and he couldn't have done a better job. I've been practicing a lot with 3D modeling, but more organic pieces like helmets and body armor I'm still practicing a lot on, so I knew that if I wanted to get this helmet done before the end of the year, I would need to seek out an artist to model it for me, and I'm so glad I went with him. After we finished the final design, he sent it over to me. I printed it out, finished it all up. I have a whole collection of the stories on my Instagram account of the entire process of making this helmet if you want to go check that out. I finished the print, made the mold, started doing castings, and the first castings I did were these two right here. So let me show off this bad boy. This is my first completed Red Hood helmet that I did with the first finished paint job. As you can see, it maintains that classic comic look with just the simple lines going through the eyes down to the chin. But instead of having them connect in front with that line, I just wanted them to follow all the way through, down through the chin, just to give it a little bit of a different look. And also I think sometimes he looks a little bit too much like Iron Man with that line in the face, especially the Titans Red Hood that they recently revealed. I think that helmet is just very odd looking, especially in the mouth area. So I wanted to add my own sort of look with them just going straight down. There are really subtle brows in there because a lot of the more modern versions of Red Hood have like a sculpted brow in the helmet. And I kind of like that look when it's not too aggressive, so I have that going on. It's got the white eyes with the black outline. But I wanted to incorporate some practical elements. So there are vents in the side of the face, and I took inspiration from sports cars and supercars that have these air intake vents on the side, because from experience of wearing a Red Hood helmet at a convention, they get extremely hot. Sometimes it's hard to breathe, it's hard to hear, so I wanted to increase the airflow that you're going to get in the helmet. And also there are some vents on the side of the head where the ears would be, so hearing in this thing is really, really good. Voices aren't muffled, your depth perception and your awareness of your surroundings isn't really hindered as much as it would be if you were just to have a solid helmet on your head. On the master of the mold, I wrapped a carbon fiber vinyl around it, so the black areas of this helmet have this really, really slick carbon fiber texture on it. It's on the eyes and face lines as well, which I really, really like. I think it adds just more texture and more of a tactical, modern vibe to the helmet. I really love the profile of it. I wanted it to have a really nice round head shape without any gaps or overhangs, so it doesn't look too much like a bobblehead. I wanted it to look like it was a form-fitting helmet. I also incorporated some LEDs inside, so the eyes light up. I think this is a really, really cool look that takes the helmet to the next level. When the lights are on, visibility is very limited, but when they're off, the eyes are just white with this cool sort of mesh look, and they have a nice shine to them. But when they're on, you really can't go wrong with that. It adds so much to videos and pictures, and again, just adds more of a modern, high-tech vibe to the helmet, which I really, really like. These are really, really fun to make, and I'm really pleased that everything came together so smoothly, and I was able to finish these before the end of the year. Now the back plate on this thing comes out with magnets. That's how it attaches. As you can see, I use neodymium magnets. I use 8 of them, 4 on the back plate and then 4 on the inside of the helmet, as you can see, like that. So it's a really, really strong connection. It's not going anywhere once it snaps on. Really, really secure, so it's not just gonna fall off. It's not gonna go on wrong. Like once it's on, it's on. I really wanted that to be secure, because sometimes helmets that I've had in the past, the back plate will fall off or the magnets won't work. So I had the magnet sections modeled into the actual back plate and into the actual helmet, so they fit in. And then I secured some areas with an epoxy, like an epoxy sculpt, just so they're really not going anywhere. And it's just a really satisfying snap when it goes together. I had these listed on my Etsy shop and I sold out within the day. I offer a clean glossy version, a clean satin version, and then a weathered version for either of those. This one has some slight weathering on it because this was for a customer. This was a pre-order, so it has very subtle weathering elements to it. But overall, it's clean. It has a clean finish. It just, those little tiny details just add a little bit of texture and a little bit of history to this particular helmet. I'm going to show you guys what one looks like on my head. So I'm just going to pop the back plate off, throw the helmet on, snap it on, and there it is. It's not too bulky, it has a really good look. The airflow is good, the lenses don't fog up. I turn the lights on. So I couldn't be more pleased with this design and how this thing came out. Really, really fun project. The reception to it was amazing. Everyone's support and kind words and suggestions when going through the process of making this was just really, really awesome, and I really appreciate it. Also, the first pre-order that I received for these helmets was actually for a Red X paint job and not a Red Hood paint job. So this is the Red X. This was really, really fun to make, especially figuring out how the design was going to work with the helmet. You can see I had those mouth lines kind of etched into the white paint, and the white areas are very weathered and grimy looking, and the customer wanted the helmet to look very battle damaged, which is always really fun to do. The white areas have a wash on them, like a dirty wash, and just a lot of scuffing and scraping. The lenses are red, which I think is a really cool and sinister look. So when this is actually on someone's head, the eyes are red and it looks really cool. Same thing with the vents on the side. Work really well. Back plate is the same deal. So figuring out different characters that will work with my design for the helmet was really fun, and I'm still thinking of other ways I can incorporate this design into other characters. I kind of get a Crossbones vibe from Civil War with this look, and the customer was really happy and it was really fun to work on. I really like this one. A few other awesome commissions I got to do this year were the Omnitrix from Ben 10. The customer wanted it to have LEDs inside, so I modeled the thing from scratch and I wired it up with LEDs, and I'm just like super happy with how it came out. It was such a new and challenging project to work on, and I'm really pleased with it. I did the thermos from Danny Phantom, which was like a really cool thing to do. Same thing as the Omnitrix. I modeled this from scratch and I wired it up, and it's just a show I used to watch a lot when I was a kid. So just to make a actual thermos in real life with lights and everything was really cool. And then I also got commissioned to make the Pink Ranger helmet from Power Rangers. And I just wanted this thing to look as clean and as professional as possible, and I'm really pleased with how it came out. The customer wanted it to have more of a pearlescent metallic type paint job, but still keeping the regular pink and white colors. I made the visor from scratch. I used some like flexible acrylic, and then I put tint over it, and I had squeegeed it so it was like super smooth and shiny. And then I fixed it in place. I added these little buckles on the sides so it would close, and it just looks like the actual prop used on the show. And just painting this thing and finishing it was really fun. I'm really pleased with this one. I plan on making a lot more tutorial videos this year, starting with tutorial for how to make these. It's something I was planning on doing all year, and I just, like I said before, just didn't have the motivation to do it, but I really want to put that out there because these are fun to make. It'll be a really good video to make, and I'm sure a lot of people out there will be interested to know how these are made. Also, I'm going to make a two-part video on how my Red Hood helmets are made. The first part is going to go into how I made the mold and the castings. So this is just a casting of one of them. And then the second part is going to go into the finish and the paint job and just the completed helmet. So that was just a rundown of my 2020 and what the year was like for me. Just wanted to update you guys and let you know what's coming. Going to be making a lot more products this year, a lot more content. I really appreciate those of you who stuck around and waited for me. Again, I'm really sorry for the lack of uploads, but I'm feeling really good about this year, and I'm really excited to get to work. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for my next video, and this is Luke 101. See ya.